the one bartender there would say, "Oh, that guy, man, he came over and talked to you again." I said, "Yeah." He said, "Yeah, that's the uni pooper." I'm like the what? And he said, "Yeah, he comes in like every time he's in here, like whenever he leaves the bathroom, one of us will go in there and just see, yep, he did it again." And he'll I guess he doesn't want to sit down to poop, so he'll just poop in front of the toilet or get half of it in the bowl and half of it outside. And I'm like, oh, that sucks. I've heard about that. And sometimes I see things like that, but you've actually identified the guy. And he's like,
Grown-up, human, comic, people! Grown-up, human, comic, people!
We're back. We haven't really left. This is episode 49 of Volume 2 of Grown-Up Human Comic People. Welcome to the show.
I thought the last one was 49.
No, that was 48.
48. Fuck, 49 though. I mean,
49. Yeah. You got a lot of episodes.
Yeah, boy.
All right.
Yeah, but this is volume 2, so essentially we're looking at fucking.
Oh, I mean,
we got over 100, man.
I don't. Do we have how many were in Volume 1?
Man, we got There
were only like 30 something. I think.
We didn't count all the the specials and all that fucking shit either.
Yeah, that's true. You've been doing this for a while now.
Yeah.
Anyway, welcome to the show. We are the humans. Let's go around the table. We forgot to do this last episode. Go around the table and say hello to everybody. Traditionally, go to my left. So, Creyas.
I saw him warming up his tongue.
Well, I am appreciating the fact that he isn't doing it directly into the diaphragm of the microphone, which we taled about that. So he's been going across the top, which is really.
He's alleviating some of Greg's anxiety.
I was bottling a lot from a lot of episodes.
I make a conscious effort now.
Yeah. So I don't know if you noticed, but he is going across the top of the microphone as opposed to into the microphone.
I did see that even last time, and I was going to thank you. You walked out of the room, but thank you. I want you to know that I notice. That's good.
Okay, J-Man.
Hey.
Greg.
Greetings.
Dan.
Hey, everybody.
I'm Jared. Welcome to the show. We are the humans. You can find us. Go to grownuphumans.com. We got a sweet website. epicastnetwork.com/grownuphumans. A lot of sweet stuff on Epicast. There's a lot of other websites. Check out In the Pit, Chris's new podcast with Trevor, who is floating around my house somewhere. Check us out on... rate and review us, please, if you can. If you could have another second, you're just at a stoplight or something.
What do you mean if you can? Everybody can.
Okay.
There's no can.
When you can.
No.
You can.
When you decide. When you decide to.
Sure. I know. When you can. As soon as you can.
Listen, it's what is it? The first week of February? Last week of January? These people already gave up all their New Year's resolutions. Are they really going to rate and review us?
Let me.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you can, of course they can. Unless we happen to be talking to the one person who is in a hospital without arms or legs or
no invalids listen to this.
Stephen Hawking can communicate with his eyelid.
Is invalid a word that we still use for people?
I don't think so. Or at least I hope not. I hope that we have progressed past the point of referring to someone with severe disabilities as invalid. You are invalid in this world.
You don't count.
Everything about you is invalid.
Yeah.
I, sir, am valid.
You're only still here because we tolerate you.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
We are totally within our reasonable rights to just get rid of your ass.
Because you are invalid.
Invalid.
That is the new N-word.
Yeah.
Invalid. Think about that.
You don't count as a numbered episode. You're a special.
Damn.
At any rate, I hope we don't use that one anymore.
So you should rate and review our podcast.
We operate, by the way, on a 5-star rating system. One star, you donate $10. 5 stars, you donate $50, and then everything between. So that's
I like that system.
yes.
And yeah, so also we're on the social medias that the kids use. If you want us to talk about anything, you have any topics or questions or whatever, we asked last episode, I guess last week, if for your New Year's resolutions, in fact, feel free to make a video, and send it to us, and we'll share it and you can be famous, at least as famous as us. So,
and not just your resolution, but your resolution
Right.
with why you were doing it,
Right.
and how you would know that what's your intention, with doing it. How will you know you have achieved a greater level, presumably,
Right.
of happiness?
or feel free to just send us a video of you screaming into your camera phone.
Yeah, or shitting your pants, or
Yeah.
shitting your friend's pants,
Yeah.
or shitting your friend's bed.
Yeah. If you shit your friend's bed, you can come on the show.
I pooped my bed.
We need proof.
Not
yeah.
the point. If you, I'm sorry, yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I should say, if you shit in your friend's bed and video it and send it to us, then you can be on the show.
I don't necessarily need to see you shitting, but like the aftermath.
No, I want to see it.
I do want to see it too. Yeah, I'm with him.
I want to see how the Tootsie Roll's made.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Have you ever watched on video a person pooping?
Yes.
Yeah.
No,
Of course.
I haven't ever seen somebody shit.
Like multiple
Really?
times.
How have you not seen some poop before?
Yeah.
No, like like it's been videotaped, and you like say weren't there for the, or maybe you were there for the incident itself. Then you're watching it on videotape, like, oh guys, you got to see this, and you're part of this group, this viewing party. If you're watching, like, yep, that's Brendan Ellis taking a dump in Derek Toe's drawer in his dorm. That's
So you're saying that you have also seen someone?
I'm not confirming that one way or the other, but yeah.
Look at you both their first and last names. Just
Brendan Ellis coming for you.
I love Brendan, man. I haven't seen him in a long time. Brendan, if you're listening, shout out, man.
Dude, I don't.
Get at us on Facebook.
No, I think I'm realizing right now, like, I've seen some pretty terrible things in my life, but I don't know that I've ever seen someone shit.
Really?
I might have seen them shit in their pants and think, in fact, I think I'm confident I've seen someone shit their pants, but like I've never seen shit come out of someone else's butt.
Oh, I've seen someone shit live.
What?
Yeah.
Like you saw the turds coming out of their ass?
Yes.
Not like they're sitting on the toilet taking a shit and you're in the room.
No, I'm saying this person was standing over a box and pooping
Where?
on my front porch.
And you saw the poop coming out of their butt.
Yes.
These parties used to be real hardcore. Man.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Here?
In this house that we're in right
well,
now.
not in the house, outside the house, but yeah.
Yeah, but okay.
Why
On
were
my
they
property,
shitting
for
sure.
in a
Property.
in a fucking box?
Because that's funny.
Yeah.
Man, it's only
Jared's there.
funny when it's on somebody
I was there.
else's porch. If it's on my
No, it
porch,
wasn't
it's not
on
so
the.
funny.
Into a box on the porch. It wasn't
So why were they shitting though?
because it's that's. The
Do I
part
know
of
this
the-
person?
Yeah, of course.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
no, yeah, we know.
I already know.
There's a photograph of this person on display in this room.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I know. I fucking knew immediately. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that's believable.
And that doesn't even seem that weird.
No, it does. It doesn't even seem
That
weird.
wasn't
Now
the
it's less
first
weird.
time.
Yeah.
No,
You're like, oh, I didn't think about that. Okay, yeah, okay, no, yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
of course.
That wasn't the first time.
Yeah.
No, I don't believe
It wasn't
was.
even the second time.
No, in fact, I believe he would take a shit anywhere for anywhere you thought he thought that you thought it would be funny
Yeah.
for maximum $10.
Oh, it wouldn't necessarily have to be a paid gig.
Yeah, he did it for free.
Yeah, that was a free one. Yeah. I mean, if we're getting money involved in it, then it would be, you could really do it anywhere. Probably, he would definitely do it anywhere for money. You start throwing numbers like $20 at him, like wow.
Yeah.
Now you're talking about like him maybe going to jail because he pooped somewhere, like for $20,
Dude, I don't know. That's
like, or at least having to run from the police.
it's actually not a bad gig because, like, I mean, you poop every day, but like, you don't make anything from that. Like, I mean,
Yeah, if you can make some money by people
Yeah.
paying you to see the shit weird
Imagine
places.
if you got $20 every time you shit. I mean, most people
Yeah.
would be getting an extra $140 a week.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
for some people, you have a roommate. That's rent.
Well, we've talked many times about making this into a show and like having him do stupid shit for pay, and
Yeah.
I'm not sure we haven't done it. we don't really hang out that much anymore.
I mean, I feel
we
like
have poor follow through with
That's true.
many things.
Yeah.
in Jackass is really taking things to the extreme.
Well, yeah, but like
Bam
it's,
Margera.
you don't have to be those guys though. In fact, sometimes the dumber shit is even funnier. Like their stuff is always really elaborate, and sometimes that kind of ruins it for me. Like where it's like, okay, that's like funny, but it's because you guys are like all millionaires and you bought like a Lamborghini so you could fucking surf it off of a building or whatever. Like, you guys, they don't have to take anything seriously because they can just throw money at stuff. But like when you see people in like their backyard, they like built something, you're like, oh my god, those guys built that out of like a ladder and a table, and this is gonna go poorly, and that's why it's funny because it's like a DIY. Almost kill yourself situation.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, like, the funniest Jackass skits, in my opinion, were always like the guy who's jogging with his baby in the stroller. You know, and it's like a fake
Real
baby.
simple.
Like those were hilarious to see people's reactions to that.
Yeah. Like
So that's fair. That's totally fair.
Yeah.
I mean, as the seasons went on, they made more money. They got more elaborate.
like
it got
the
less-
bad grandpa thing. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
how many of us have the time or money to put together like a whole prosthetic rig where it's like you can go out and pretend to be like a funny old person?
Right.
Nobody. But like, how many of us can find an old stroller and put a baby doll in it and then act like an asshole?
Yeah.
All of us.
100% of them.
Yeah.
That's
Push it
funny.
in,
That's
strap.
really funny.
That is hilarious.
What are we talking about?
Nothing.
Okay.
But I do have a question
Yes.
for everybody here, and,
Yes.
and I think this is something that we could kind of go around the table, and it's compliments.
Okay.
So, like my question is, if somebody, so there's somebody giving you a compliment, what do you think is the most common compliment you get behind your back? Like, what do people say about you when you're not around?
Oh.
Like, what's there's probably a theme, right?
Yeah, probably.
So what do you think yours is?
Oh, mine personally? I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah.
I was going to say, I can probably think of like for other people, I could probably think of like a bunch for other people that I know.
No.
But for me, I don't know.
I think if you're being honest, you probably have an idea of what people say behind your back because it's probably fairly close to what people say to you.
Sure.
What do you think it is? You don't have to go first. Does anybody else?
I guess,
Greg?
I guess like trying to guess on what the compliment behind your back is, that's easier than guessing anything derogatory that people say behind your back because they're more likely to give you the compliment to your face as well. So
Right.
that's a really hard question to answer, though.
I hate this.
No, come on, man. Come on. Like, you
No,
got...
I totally know what mine is.
What's yours?
I know what mine is because when someone comes up to me and says, "Hey," it's fixing stuff. Because somebody will come up to me like Trevor's girlfriend came up to me and was like telling me about how I fixed Trevor's TV.
Yeah.
I never told her that shit.
Yeah.
That means
Yeah.
they were talking about it. Like he was giving. Yeah, that was a
So,
compliment.
like, you're handy.
Yeah.
Like you're
yeah.
a dude.
I get
you're
that all,
you're-
like,
you're-
yeah.
Like, oh, man, you're so fucking handy. That's cool. Like, Jay really knows his fucking way around, like, electronics and shit. man.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah.
And like apparently Jared told him because I never told him that I even do that.
Right.
Right.
But he came to me. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I never
yeah.
told any of these people about
So,
it.
like, you're like a handy, sharp guy.
Yeah.
I do often say like, Jared's. I would say the best word I would say is capable.
But wait. So
There you
we're
go.
going to come around to this in a minute.
yeah.
So,
okay.
all right, Chris, what do people say? What do you think people say about you?
Because I get this all the time, and I never really wanted to address this. But I know that I'm funny, and I'm funny on social media, and people don't have to privately tell me that, because I get it about once a week on average. I'm
That
like,
you're
"What?"
funny.
That I'm funny, and that I'm funny on social media, and it's like I didn't want to put it on there. I didn't want to like your status or something. I get that all the time.
Yeah.
People come up to me and they're like, "You're really funny." I'm like,
Okay, that's fucking great, man. I think that's of the better compliments you can get.
"Yeah,
That's good.
I
It's
just
really
don't
good.
Like it. I'm going to take this time to say you don't have to tell me that. It's fine."
No.
You can just-
No. But yeah, so this is an important. Did you figure, Jared? Did you figure out what yours most likely is?
No.
Come on, man. Get the fuck out of here.
Well, the thing is, like, I'm not. Are you talking about like if it were like
Man.
you, like people who know, like you guys who actually know me, or
No,
like,
no. Like, yeah, people who know you, people who don't know you. Like, what's the fucking thing? You know this. You already know this. Like, I don't believe that you don't know this. I don't believe that anybody doesn't know this.
I see. The thing for me is like I don't want to like speculate about what you're going
But
to say,
that's-
because
that-
if I either pick the wrong thing, I'm gonna sound like an asshole.
No. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. This is
Like,
totally,
well, I know people say that like I'm real funny a lot of the time.
No, but this is all part of it, though. This is all part of it.
'Cause anybody who says that's-
like, be honest. I think if somebody had a gun to your head and said, "Listen, man, what the fuck compliment do you get from other people?"
I could stall by commenting
On yours?
Yeah.
All right.
It took me this long to think of it.
All right.
But this is from a specific guy who told me, who did come forward and tell me this. And so I feel like if there is something that people might say, maybe it's related to what this guy's impression of me was. It was when I was working at the Heinz History Center. This guy was a security guard, and he didn't like me for a while because he had this like departmental, you guys over there and me over here kind of thing. Anyway, I think eventually, because I was working there for a couple years or a few years, and I forget. I guess I was dealing with him more often, and he eventually warmed up to me because he was just this curmudgeon of a guy. And he said, eventually, he said, "You're not dumb." He said, "You pretend to be dumb sometimes, but you're actually pretty smart. Most people don't do that." And I was like, thanks. I guess it's better than the other way around.
No, man, that's a really good compliment because it's saying like you're humble and you're really intelligent, and you don't need to prove it to anyone else. So there's some level of security there. Like you're secure in who you are.
I guess that's the message to take from it. Yeah, and I was really happy to hear it from him. It was because it's not the kind of thing that anyone would hear all the time. I mean, I guess that's the idea. Is this the thing that you expect people might be saying when you're not around?
Right.
Because those kinds of conversations, I'm sure that people have on, I guess, potentially positive and negative ends of the spectrum, talked about every living person behind their back. Because I've done like that. If there's, it's like weird whenever you. Like just talking about the positive for a minute, but like if there's someone that like everybody knows this one person and says like, oh well, they always show up prepared, or and that's great, or like they're really whatever. That there's no real purpose in telling them that.
Right,
I suppose.
But inevitably they are told that, right? Like usually,
It gets around to them, I guess.
Yeah.
Like that people appreciate their those qualities. Yeah.
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 Yeah. All right, man.
The only thing I can think of because I hear a lot that whether it's true or not, that people seem to think that I do or involved in a lot of like cool stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's kind of what. Yeah. All right. And for me, I'm very confident that people give the compliment of that like I'm nice or sincere. Right?
Yeah.
Like and I hear that a lot.
Yeah.
That,
Yeah.
like,
I
oh,
would say like Dan's a really good dude. Like,
Right.
that's- Yeah.
Right. And in this thing, but I think the compliments we get right behind our backs, we know what they are because it's the type of person that we are intending to project out into the world.
Yeah.
And so that's why whenever I'm saying, like you fucking know what people are saying about you behind your back, and I push that, it's because like that is intentionally who you project to be.
Yeah, that makes yeah.
I don't think it's an accident.
Right.
That you, and I don't think that's a bad thing either. And I'm not necessarily saying that it's disingenuous.
Right.
And in fact, I think everything that you guys said that you think that people say about you, like I would say something in that spectrum as well. Probably with the exception of you, Jared.
I guess you have to be specific.
Because my compliments about you are different from that. Just because I'm very aware of everything that people are like, oh, Jared's cool, Jared. And of course, like I think you're cool. I think you're great. I love you. You're fantastic. But that isn't the first compliment that would come to my mind. But I know that that's probably the first compliment that would come to most people's minds.
Sure.
And the question is, right? Because like I'm not fucking super nice, I'm not like this like I try I try to be sincere and I try to be nice and I try to be genuine but like this is like a small margin of all of the things I do in a day.
Right.
When I'm interacting with people, I try to be nice and sincere. I probably hit that mark. I don't know. I'm lucky if it's 50% of the time, man? Like, I don't know how many fucking interactions I have on the phone or in person where I'm just like trying to get through it, like real quick.
Right.
Like, all right, man. Hey, yeah, nice to see you too. Oh, yeah, it's great to see you. Hey, man, yeah, we'll get together soon. We're going to have lunch. We're going to have dinner. We're going to have coffee. We're going to have a beer. We're going to do blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay, great. Now this is over. Done. And it's like half the shit I say is sincere.
Yeah.
And if I'm lucky, and I think if any of us are lucky, half the shit we say is sincere. And that's like, I think that's the reality,
But I mean, if you're talking to somebody who has a compliment to give about somebody, they've at least spoken. All those like half interactions are like people you probably don't talk to a lot, or like just total strangers, like someone like the cashier or the server or something. And like people who talk to you regularly have a much better idea of who you are, and you probably spend more time trying to project the kind of being sincere to them than you would to like a random, like if you're in the red light next to somebody, be like,
yeah,
whatever,
absolutely,
yeah.
And I think the intention of being some way, you become the thing that you intend to be.
Yeah.
Eventually,
Whether you're conscious of it or not.
Whether you're fucking conscious of it or not. Yeah. Like, do something enough times, that's just what you do now.
Well, I'm thinking
keep making that fucking face, it'll stick, and it will.
Right, exactly. Yeah, we've talked about that
100%.
before.
Yeah,
for sure.
That goes much deeper than just fucking crossing your eyes and like sticking your tongue out.
Yeah, like fuckboy behavior.
Yeah,
when you're like, oh, I'm gonna be nice to this person and hope that they want to have sex with me.
I'm a basic bitch. I'm a basic bitch.
Yeah, you jokingly
well, guess
say-
what? All of a sudden, you're fucking 35 years old and you're a basic bitch.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Success.
You win. Yes, Gesundheit. So nonsense. Sorry.
But, so what is so do you feel like what everyone said about themselves, like, does everybody else feel like that's the compliment that they would give each other?
What you guys said, is that what I would say?
Like individually. Like Chris, if somebody like behind Chris's back, I don't necessarily, the first thing out of my mouth isn't Chris is funny. The first thing that comes out of my mouth about Chris is he's a great storyteller. And then I'll go on from there. I'll be like, Chris is really good at storytelling, and he works on it, and he's fucking hilarious.
Can I stop here? I'm very uncomfortable with the compliments.
Yeah, exactly, man, because it makes us feel weird. Because I think what makes us feel weird and uncomfortable about compliments is because it makes us feel like we're a fraud.
Yeah.
Because what the things that people say about us when we get compliments, all of a sudden we have to acknowledge that, like, what we're projecting out
It's working.
is working, but the reality is we're only that person a very small margin of the time.
Yeah.
And so the people who get uncomfortable with compliments, I think, are healthy. I think it's healthy to get a compliment and feel uncomfortable because that's having this self-awareness enough to know that you're full of shit.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Yeah.
You're trying, but you're full of shit. These narcissistic fucking delusional idiots are the ones who get compliments and they're like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm aware. And it's like, you fucking delusional maniac. You finally believed your own lies. You have achieved the point in your life where you believe your fucking own lies. You think you're great. You think you're nice. You think you're sincere. You think you're cool. You think you're whatever the fuck you are. No, man. Let's be honest. The majority of the time, you're not any of those. The majority of the time, you're sucking air and shoving energy down your throat. Like, that's what's happening. But you're trying to do something, hopefully. And when somebody tells you that, hey, good job, you're like, but I failed so much. How can you think I'm doing good?
Right.
Like,
right.
I try and I fail. How can you think that's good? And I feel like that's simultaneously healthy and unhealthy because the healthy people in the world, it seems like, are harder on themselves than they need to be. And the unhealthy people in the world are like, they think that their fucking Instagrams are filled with selfies. For Christ's sakes. Like we need more of those. Like we need more of you being this fucking character. Like this character of a human.
But I think that in fact it was something that I think you said one time. What is another healthy thing though is being able to just whenever somebody like either offers to do something nice or just gives you a compliment or something, just be like instead of becoming uncomfortable or trying to be like no, just be like thank you.
No. And that's that's very different. I feel like that is when you can graciously accept any gift.
Right.
And whether that's kind words or like some material gift or something. When someone can give you something and you can say thank you.
And maybe they're not mutually exclusive. Like even though you might outwardly say like, oh, thank you very much, without having to feel like have the compulsion to be like, oh, whoa, no. Like if you can be like, hey, thanks. You inside you might still be like, oh, okay,
right.
You can stop with the compliments now, but like outwardly be like, well, thank you, I appreciate that.
Yeah, like okay,
Yeah.
I am moving down this path.
Sure.
And you have seen you've seen the highlights reel. Thank you for acknowledging the highlights reel. You haven't seen all the practice tapes.
Now let's please stop talking about this.
Yeah, but it's just thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And there's something to be said for grace.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
in those moments, and continuing to move on.
I imagine it has to be how Meryl Streep has to act all the time.
yeah, totally.
Like she's constantly being showered with all sorts of compliments. I imagine she probably can't go anywhere without being like, "Oh my God, I love you so much."
And right, and how do you because that's like that kind of this kind of segues. So I guess these two things that I wanted to talk with you guys about because like I haven't fucking talked to you guys in a while in this format. The other one was this like the American epidemic of not being seen.
Yeah.
Like I feel like there's this not being seen and not being heard. Like the greatest epidemics right now that are reflected in the constant, these enormous numbers of prescriptions for like anti-anxieties, antidepressants, all this shit. But
People eating Tide Pods.
people eating fucking Tide Pods, people huffing Jenkum. Yeah, like
I'm not sure if that's an attention-seeking behavior.
no, not attention. And I don't think it's necessarily being seen. Everybody is yelling a lot, but nobody is listening.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is that sentiment, that statement kind of sums up the culture right now, the popular culture. We're all just screaming. We're all just screaming and hoping to God somebody will listen to us, somebody will hear us. But we're all too busy screaming.
Yeah. In fact, if you want to prove us wrong, feel free to hit us up on social media and say something to us, and we will respond.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Because we don't want an echo chamber. We'd like to hear from everybody.
Yeah.
Sorry, continue.
No, but that's it. Like, I feel like we nobody is listening, and we're projecting out, and before anybody can even can call us on our bullshit, can hear our words, it's just being overpowered by somebody else's voice, and it's just this. It's like a sea of voices, like a cacophony of voices that are never heard.
There are times whenever, and I try my best to stay off of Facebook and stuff as much. In fact, I've successfully broken myself away from that a little bit, so I don't feel the compulsion to be like, if I get mad at something, I'll be like, well, I'm going to go on Facebook and fucking put a status up and be like, why can't people learn how to drive in the snow? Like, I don't feel it, but for a long time I did feel that compulsion because I was just on Facebook all the time, like trying to get all my thoughts out there into the ether. So because as soon as you see like a couple people respond to that, it's like, okay, cool. At least somebody heard my frustration and responded to it. Like it's a satisfying feeling. Like it's
validating.
Exactly,
it validates you.
Exactly,
it validates that.
Right. So like. Facebook it's such an addictive thing because you have you get all these friends and then you have like this big pool of people who are willing to listen to you scream out into the ether, and then like sometimes those people even respond back, and it's like, okay, cool, like I had this frustration and these people can sympathize with me. I feel a lot better, and it's like this dump of fucking serotonin or whatever, and you get addicted to that.
And I think that, but what we're doing is we're creating this caricature of who we are.
Yeah.
That is then reinforced by a like or a fucking quick comment or something like that. And so then it goes back into this whole compliments thing, and who we project out into the world, then becomes who we are.
Yeah.
Once we're perceived to be anything, then we have that power of belief, which is intensely powerful. I mean, the placebo effect. More powerful than many drugs in operative procedures.
Yeah.
So all you need is the belief from people around you that then make you believe that you are this thing, and then you become this thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, you see goddamn Kanye West and Kim Kardashian and fucking President Trump. Like these people believe that they are these things.
Yeah.
Because it's just, I'm going to project this out. But then what happens when you become that?
Right. Well,
what happens when you finally become your president now? You're important, Kim.
I'd like to, though. I would like to know how those people you just mentioned, how all of those people actually see themselves. Like, if I could see a visual representation of how they see themselves versus how how they actually look and how I see them. Like if there was some kind of way to draw like your psychic impression of them, like not how they look, but how you know what I mean? Like
residual self-image, as Morpheus puts it.
Exactly. Yeah. How exactly? Yeah. Why Neo still has hair in the Matrix? Right. Or in the Rick and Morty episode where it's the representation of the marriage of Morty's parents.
Oh yeah.
Where it takes it scans them and then it scans their relationship, and it has it creates two like versions of them, and like hers is like this horrible alien monster, and his is like this little slug piece of shit. Oh, it's I'm sorry. It's how the other person sees the other person. That's how it is. It's
Holy shit, man! I've watched all the episodes. And I need to go and rewatch that. I was
that one's great. But yeah, something like that, where it's like, how do these people see themselves? Like, how do you think Donald Trump actually thinks of himself?
But again, I feel like once the belief is strong enough for you to become this thing, then you've become that thing, and you believe it. You believe, like, you are of the disposition that you can believe you are that great. Like, you don't get uncomfortable like Chris. You just believe it.
But I'm wondering though, if you can, even if you become try to become that thing, but then every once in a while you rein it back and say like, okay, I know that there's this construct that I've made that is me, but I'm in here somewhere, and like I didn't kind of touch base and make sure that I'm still me. Have like a series of benchmarks to come back to reality for like a little while, and then So you can still put the mask on.
I don't
but
know,
remain
man. I think you
yourself.
either kill yourself or make like a huge life change. Honestly, like I swear to God, I feel like if you came down to if you come to the point where you're fucking president or like you're the goddamn like you think that you deserve to be paid billions for like emoji fucking autocorrect creation or like you deserve billions for having a giant ass and being like relatively very, you know, in the spectrum of good looking. Like if you get to that point and then you all of a sudden have like this self-realization, at that juncture you have two options. Well, three, perhaps. The first is disregard it entirely, call bullshit on that self-realization and everyone else outside of you is right. Two, you become like a monk or you turn around, you fucking let that shit go, you renounce everything. Or three, you just off yourself. Like, because it's just like this dichotomy, this thing that cannot be compromised.
So you're saying you can't keep wearing the mask and without becoming the mask?
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. You cannot. Because eventually you can't take that mask off. You can't take it off and do something else.
It's like The Haunted Mask by R.L. Stein.
or the mask with Jim Carrey.
Oh yeah. Eventually it starts getting harder and harder to get off every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's fun. It's only just now that I realized the depth of appreciation that I should have had for those works when I first read and watched respectively. Those. Yeah. Oh, they're deep. Those are deep contributions to American literature and cinema. Yeah.
But I mean, seriously, they are, because how many times, you know, what do they, you know, you hear the stories about there's no such thing as, you know, as courage. It's what you do in the face of fear, right? So nobody's actually courageous. It's just how you act when you're scared. And then you do that, and all of a sudden, like, you know, you become a courageous person. It's like, no, man, like, you're just acting. I'm getting drunk.
Yeah. It's like I'm
Reel this back in.
Okay.
I want to go back to when you used the word cacophony.
Thank you. Yeah.
It's a great word.
I enjoy that word. I feel like that is one of the handful of words in the English language that sounds like what it means.
I agree. I want to talk about the first time that I ever heard that word.
Okay. I'm really interested in this now.
Yeah.
Go
I
ahead.
hope it happened at Dairy Queen.
It was after a day after the Steelers lost their last Super Bowl. I went into work. I was very sick.
That was the first time you heard this word?
This wasn't that long ago.
No, 2010. I guess.
What?
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Yeah. Continue, sorry.
I worked at a place that not a great place. All right. So
Is it Dairy Queen?
no, 2010. I was not at Dairy Queen.
Fuck, that sucks.
It's never too late, Chris.
No, I was working out in Robinson for AT&T, and yeah, the word cacophony came up when I was pooping.
Were you making a cacophony while pooping?
I personally wasn't, but I was in there removing a bowel movement.
Removing
a bowel movement?
My rectum.
Wait.
From my rectum.
Oh, I thought you meant like maybe somebody else before you didn't flush, and you're like, God damn it, I gotta remove this.
Yeah. Because like the bowel movement, that is the action. Like
Yeah.
moving your bowels is the action.
No.
If you're removing a bowel movement, then someone has already moved their bowels, and
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
moving the result of that.
Oh, that kind of.
That would be a really shitty place to work at. You're right.
Oh!
Go ninja, go ninja, go! Go ninja, go ninja, go!
Jesus Christ.
All right.
So you're taking a shit, and it was loud.
Yeah.
And what happened?
Well, it was rough, but I got through it, and I walked out, and I heard, no, that sounded like a cacophony in there. That's what that sounded like, a cacophony. And it just kept being repeated over and over again by 3 people, and I was.
I think it was 3 people who just learned the word cacophony because anybody said that sounded like a cacophony. I don't like a cacophony. I feel like that was cacophony.
Rather than saying who was causing that cacophony in there.
Right.
Oh, Gable, was that you? Should have
like
figured.
I mean, you would say like that sounded like a rock concert of farts.
I mean, you would say a cacophony. I mean, that's correct. But like, I mean, I see what you're saying though. It's like if
It sounded like they were deliberately
Yeah.
their word a day calendar that back in their cubicle was
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
that's
it was
exactly the thought I had.
it was January 2nd. They're like, I'm gonna better my vocabulary.
It's one of the resolutions is to better their vocabulary, and that was their word of the day.
Yeah. So
Cacophony.
So, yeah, obviously.
yeah.
There was a word of the day calendar on somebody's desk, and that was it. And they kept telling each other what it was. It wasn't me. It was a man who was sitting in the stall next to me.
Is this the guy who scream shits?
No, that's another story for another time.
Okay.
There were little plops, poops, on each side of this stall where this gentleman had a cacophony of farts and lightning, from what I can understand, because it almost looked like a gentle kiss of a poop on one side of the stall, on the
sides?
other.
Oh,
The sides.
The sides
Just
of
put
the stall.
spraying shit from his ears.
Oh,
Yeah.
possibly.
My
And
God.
That's what
it was
that's what it
blowing
was
out
like.
the sides of the fucking toilet seat.
Yeah.
You know, with that like
Oh,
tiny
under the
little-
seat. Yeah.
Yeah, like between. Holy shit!
Under
That
the
just
seat.
me.
Under the seat.
A cacophony
Down
because
it's better, downwards wetter. Take it from me.
No, dude, it'd be like
Yes.
behind my knees. Because it'd be shit behind his knees.
Behind the knees.
Behind the knees.
The shit behind your knees.
Cacophony.
You get rid of the shit on your. That's a regular cacophony.
the bathroom was out of commission, and there were orange cones involved with this shit.
Where did Ben pee after that?
The other bathroom.
The women's bathroom?
No, the other bathroom.
Oh,
There was
you guys
another.
are
There was a
like
second floor
having
bathroom. It's just you couldn't get to it from the first floor. So
Well, that probably is better for taking breaks, though.
Oh
You gotta take a
man.
whiz. That's like 10 minutes right there.
a cacophony.
How? Okay, so
Of poop.
in order for how high up on the wall were these these kisses of turd?
I was impressed.
How high? Like if you were
Impression high.
on
Like,
your body, like how high on your body would it have been?
If you
Like-
were
like
sitting on the
torso,
toilet
like
seat.
you're up to your nipples, like how high up?
Oh,
Eye
like-
level?
No, not. I am.
Standing or
'Cause-
sitting?
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Like, in order to get a spray of poop like up to eye level, imagine. Okay, as a person who has watched another person poop in front of me,
That makes you more of an expert than me.
yeah, like like poop comes from like if someone's pooping, it comes your butthole really does face like directly down almost. You know, like
Yeah.
especially if you're bending over or whatever. So if this person was even trying to pull their pants down and get to the toilet. Like
Suggesting is his ass was facing up.
what I'm suggesting is that this person like went to pull their pants all the way down so that they were like basically doing like touching their toes so that their butt was pointed up at the wall. It's the only way that could have happened. Or they would have had to been standing on the toilet. Or they had to jump into the air.
Well, was there shit everywhere or just on the walls?
The shit was on the sides, not the walls, but the sides of what do you call those?
The
What do you-
stall?
Yeah, I guess it's a
Stall,
stall.
yeah.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
walls.
Yeah, the walls of the stall.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yo,
So-
sorry.
So it was the Tasmanian
No, let
devil.
him elaborate. Elaborate.
Tasmanian
No,
devil.
I mean,
is all I was
it
gonna
was
say.
it was just like very harsh strikes of poop.
I have a theory when
On the
you're
wall
done
stall.
speaking.
No. Mine was going to go on a tangent.
Okay, I was gonna say like another possibility, not to debunk any of those strong likelihoods because I really like the idea of somebody jumping up in the air while pooping or aiming their butt at each of the walls, like aiming at the left wall and then pausing, turning around and aiming it at the right wall.
Oh, see, I was thinking of someone trying to do an all-in-one jump. It's a spin jump.
Like a Tasmanian devil. Like I was saying
like
before.
you press A in Super Mario World.
Oh, right. Okay. Well,
Or hippopotamus.
Yeah, that's perfect.
what I could see happening is like, what if it were just like a shotgun blast of an expulsion, and now of course your rectum's aiming down, but the bowl is
Oh, I see what
aimed
you're
at,
saying.
because it's kind of like, whenever you go to the dentist, the light is not shining on you; it's shining back on a
Onto a reflective
concave,
surface.
yeah, reflective surface,
Yeah.
and so in effect, I mean, just all matter behaving similarly, you can project down with such force that it can overcome the gravity and reflect back from that being aimed. Oh yeah, the bowl like curves up
Right.
like that. That's how it can get out
Right.
the sides.
Yeah, of course.
Like
How do you
when you-
think you get shit on the bottom of the toilet seat?
Or when you
From
accidentally
that.
Yeah.
That's it.
when you accidentally you're using the sprayer in the sink and you hit like the wrong angle and it like sprays up into your lap.
Yeah.
That
Into your
pisses me
face.
off.
Yeah, that's the
That'll
worst.
that'll
Yeah.
piss me
Yeah.
off real quick.
Oh yeah. You forget and you have a bowl and the bowl you hold the bowl so it's facing away from you and you squirt into the top corner of the bowl and it goes directly back into your fucking
Oh, if it had like Italian dressing in it, oh, you're fucking pissed.
and like the back of your mind as you were pulling the trigger you were like, son of a bitch, I know better than this. Everyone's done that.
You're like, why did I do that?
Yeah. Well, I'm an adult.
The fuck was I thinking?
Yeah, I do this. This is my sink. But yeah, so I guess it would be possible if someone shat so hard that it just sprayed out the sides of the
That's
toilet.
what I thought from the gate.
Yeah. Or maybe it was a really skinny person and it actually shot next to them, like up, like their butt wasn't covering the whole seat.
Then how did they? If they're so skinny that the sides are exposed, then how do they just like mind force themselves to stay? I like that idea a lot. Actually.
I just feel like they're very long and thin, so
Yeah.
there's not a whole lot of the.
I like that, but like the very tip of their ass, and then just their knees are on the toilet seat.
And so when every time they sit down, you can hear the click of their tailbone on the very edge of the back of the seat.
This is the most American thing ever.
Well, did you see who did it? I mean, because obviously that person got shit all over themselves.
Right? Yeah.
There's no way they walk away from that clean.
Yeah, they're at ground zero.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah, like this person had to have.
They would have been hard to find.
No, they'd fucking stink
Yeah.
so bad.
The dogs.
Blind
Don't,
man could fucking, yeah.
yeah, the dogs don't need to have special training.
Stevie
to,
Wonder could have found that guy.
Yeah.
Man,
Good.
maybe it was a planned thing. Maybe it was a planned attack. Right? Maybe this is not just like an accidental shit like storm.
Well, that's what I was just about to say, man. Whenever Sprinkles
You're saying this was terrorists.
So we knew
Yeah.
a guy. We know a guy who used to be a security guard down at the casino, and there was a saga of some person who was shitting in different places all over the casino, like taking dumps in the parking lot, dumps in the hallway.
Like a serial shitter.
Dumps, yeah, this dude was shitting everywhere. It was a real big deal. I mean, they had the police involved.
That is
they had,
awesome.
Like, the top guys. This
Is it
dude
the
was
Rivers Casino?
yeah, in downtown, they was just dumping everywhere. This is like within the last year. This guy was taking shits all over the casino.
I'm going to ask my cousin about that. My cousin's he like does security down there sometimes, like a retired cop. And
He'll know about it.
Yeah, I'm sure he does.
Yeah, that's the thing that happened. He's been doing it for a while.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he knows
Couple
about
years.
the shitter.
Yeah.
Yep. This dude was shitting everywhere, and that's hilarious. But what's hilarious is that was like the content of their job. You know, they get like their daily debriefing. Like, all right, we had another shit tonight. What we're gonna need you guys to do is look out for anybody who looks like they could shit pretty soon.
I'm just like imagining like a room full of security guards and like these guys, like some of these guys are kind of serious. Like one guy's real serious about it.
Yeah.
He's like this shitter's like his nemesis. So like, we had another shitter today. He's like, damn it! I'm gonna get this guy.
He's taking notes.
Johnson, were you on duty? Did you see anything? Don't take this seriously. It's gonna keep happening.
It's goddamn anarchy. We created toilets at least 100 years ago.
Animals. What's wrong with these people?
What separates us from dogs if we shit everywhere we want to?
That's what I was like, hey man, calm down. It's okay. It's like, no, it is not. It is not okay. Okay?
Do you want to go back to living in a jungle? Do you want to go back to when you had to worry about panthers eating you?
Because you know how to clean up the first and second shits? Me. Both on my shift.
When are we going to be able to get DNA on this guy?
Did anyone get a sample? I'm just really having fun with this idea in my head of like this one security guard being like bent on catching.
You know what?
You should get a job down there just to like.
Honestly, you know what? Now that I'm
it
thinking
out.
about it, there was so this is not as I don't know. Like it just occurred to me, but like so now I've played at the. It's been a while, but I've played at the Giant Eagle like cafes a few times.
Yeah.
So the one in Village Square by South Hills Village, there was a guy who always came up, and I haven't been there since like April, but he always came up and said, "Hey, buddy, how you doing?" And he was kind of basically like it was just always this guy who came up and said like, "Hey, how you doing?" But he would like interrupt me sometimes in the middle of a song, and damn it, and like I kind of created this barrier in front of me with like the guitar cases to kind of create my own space, and he would just step right over it, and, like lean on my music stand. I'm like, fuck you, what's come on, man. Anyway, the one bartender there would say, "Oh, that guy, man, he came over and talked to you again." I said, "Yeah." He said, "Yeah, that's the uni pooper." I'm like the what? And he said, "Yeah, he comes in like every time he's in here, like so, like whenever he leaves the bathroom, one of us will go in there and just see, yep, he did it again." And he'll like, I guess he doesn't want to sit down to poop, so he'll just like poop in front of the toilet or like get half of it in the bowl and half of it outside. And I'm like, oh, that sucks. I've heard about that. And sometimes I see things like that, but like you've actually identified the guy. And he's like, yeah, we know who he is.
Yeah, the same person who'd be brazen enough to take a shit in front of the toilet is the same guy who leans on your music stand to interrupt your song.
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
my God.
like that's self-important. That like,
Yeah.
you know what, man? I'm not worried about. Like, I have my own sense
Yeah.
of what's right and what's okay is me shitting on the floor.
Also, you know that man does not wash his hands after he uni shits all over that toilet.
Oh god, you're right.
Yeah.
Because that is the kind of job you need to hit it. You gotta get out of there. You can't
Yeah.
fuck around in that bathroom anymore.
You're right. You're right.
Also, that guy's a poopy butthole
Yeah, he has a poopy butthole.
for sure.
So
Yeah, for sure.
So it would be like eventually I saw this guy a few times in a row, and then after a few times I just kind of realized, maybe it was when I was talking to the same bartender. I said, it's kind of weird though. Like I started at like noon, and it's like a 3 or 4, I think it was usually a 4-hour thing with breaks. I was like, I started noon. I'd see him like before 1 o'clock, and then like I'd see him again like 3:30 or whatever. But like I never see him with a shopping cart or anything. What's he like? What's the deal? And he said, oh, he just comes in and like goes to play the gambling machine over there. I'm like, oh, okay, what a weird guy. So there may be. I mean, Pittsburgh's a small town. I'm not saying it's the guy, but this seriously might be the guy from the casino.
Oh, gambles when he's
But
there.
we feel like, I mean, there's weed. I'm not going to fucking include myself in these numbers. There are folks who believe that this is a vendetta shitter.
Oh.
Where your guy seems
Well, what else
like-
would it be?
Well, no, the unit pooper, he doesn't seem like he's a vendetta-based guy. He's
Yeah,
just,
it's just
he's-
pure
he doesn't wanna get his-
psychotic.
he doesn't want to get his ass
Like
fucking on
serial
the same
shitting.
toilet seat as some gross bastards, and so he's trying to shit into the toilet. Sometimes he shits on the side of the toilet. He can't tell. He doesn't have eyes in his butt. I'll see is to be able to shit without touching the other thing, and he wants to come back and he wants to have a nice time.
Right, he's not pooping in the parking lot. is what you're
Right,
saying.
he's not like shitting in the hallway, shitting in the parking lot, shitting next to a car, shitting on a car. Like these are the issues at the casino. This is a vendetta pooper.
Oh shit!
He
Bad
can't
shit.
see. He doesn't have eyes on his butt.
Like some kind of criminal analyst. Yeah. No, this is clearly not a serial killer.
No,
The patterns are all wrong.
no, what I was saying is like the casino one has to be a vendetta shitter because like it's like in the hallways and the parking lot and shit. Like that's
Oh yeah,
that's
no, I'm
definitely
saying,
someone with something to
I'm
say.
saying Greg's guy isn't
Yeah.
a vendetta shitter.
Oh no! That just sounds like somebody who's not all there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I mean, also like, who comes to poop in Jenny Go twice a day? Like,
Somebody who doesn't have anywhere else to poop is the answer to that question.
I try to avoid going to the Giant Eagle at all.
I try to avoid pooping anywhere that doesn't have a bidet, which as of
Yeah.
right now is my house and your house.
Yeah,
Fuck.
my parents' house now as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Well,
Yeah.
I'm still gonna try to avoid pooping there.
That's fine. Yeah, but yeah, shout out to my parents.
Yeah.
I got them a bidet for Christmas, and they are pleased. And also, if you don't have one at your house, I'm sure I've said this on here before. Fucking get one. If you don't, you're a goddamn animal.
$22.99
You have a poopy butthole.
on Amazon.
2-day shipping. Just get that shit.
What's the company? Green
I think the one we have a Green Co.
Green Co.
Green Co,
Green Co.
Yeah.
Just
You're
do it,
welcome,
man.
fucking Green Co.
Yeah.
2-day shipping. But if you
Yeah.
make the move now, you only have to take 2 more shits like an animal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a fucking gross vendetta.
Has
shit.
everyone? Oh wait, don't you have one? Do you have one?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you have one too. Yeah, Chris. Has one.
Oh yeah. I'll poop at Gables.
Yeah.
It's
But
only
yeah.
3
Have you
blocks
guys
away.
used it here? No?
I've used the one here. I don't have one at home. I try to hold it in between visits here.
Right, of course. Yeah. That's, yeah.
Greg poops
Yeah,
twice a week, 3 times a week.
Yeah. Usually when I see Greg, I'm just like, oh hey, and he's like, I won't see him for another 20 minutes. Then I'll see him again.
You know what? I'm gonna bring this up now.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. Greg, Lacey, and I, we have an ongoing feud
Okay.
on if you're a vampire.
Oh. Okay.
Oh.
Interesting.
Like a sexy Tom Cruise vampire, you could nibble on a neck. Mm.
No.
He said no.
No.
The click,
No.
your clicking of your teeth made me uncomfortable.
That's a vampire bite. Look out.
That would make vampires so much scarier.
I'm coming for you.
Can you imagine if there was like it was a scary movie and there was like someone walking through some dark shadows and then behind them just appears someone going making that clicking sound with their teeth?
I do like to. I sometimes do that.
Okay.
If
What
it-
are you doing,
wait,
you weird
I wait.
perv?
No, I did. Let's wait. Get real quiet. Here it is. Sorry.
Oh man, I definitely won. Greg's a vampire, guys.
Man, sorry, I jumped the gun. What's the rest of the discussion? I'm curious now.
Yeah. Explain the vampire thing.
You are vampire-esque. On average, when do you go to bed?
Oh no, I don't know. Oh no, Craig. I don't know. I do know. I just rather not say.
5 a.m. 5 a.m.
That's
4 a.m.
Greg, there's
Fair.
no shame in that. I usually go to bed around that time as well.
That's fair for you to say.
Yeah.
I will not contest that.
I went to
Okay.
bed at 5 in the morning last night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 5 a.m. We're
Okay.
gonna go with that.
Sure.
Your features are angular, very angular.
That's true.
Yeah, this is an angular person.
It's like is that more like a Western European?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying that you have the features of a vampire country person,
Yeah.
or like somebody from a vampire country.
Sure.
Look at Rick's nose. How would you describe that?
It's a good nose. It's a very English nose. You know, it's almost got one. I got this little bump in the middle of my nose that makes me just a little too Semitic for some people's tastes.
Right.
Greg's nose is nicer and
Angular.
straighter.
But
it's better than
straight.
It's better if you're trying to pass than mine.
If I'm judging Greg as a vampire, I can kind of see it because I've known Greg for a while now, and he, as far as I can tell, looks pretty much the same as when this whole time.
Yeah.
I mean, he has
Right?
he has fairly luxurious hair too. Which
Yeah,
is,
it's always.
Oh, I'm glad you guys brought up Greg's hair.
it's fairly luxurious.
How would you describe Greg's hair?
luxurious?
shoulder length, long, thick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Luxurious. That's
Yeah.
what you would call luxurious.
Black
in
like a
apparel.
bat. He's definitely a fucking vampire.
and I've personally never met any of your family members, so I don't know if that's even.
Oh
even-
my
even
goodness,
a
that's
real
a
thing or
good
not.
point.
Interesting. I never have either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
And Greg has cool sideburns too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If someone said like Greg's actually 400 years old, I'd be like, huh. And I'd look for a while. I'm going to ask some questions.
No.
You know what? Guess
I'm
what,
gonna
guess what
start-
Greg never did to me, which discounts this. He never did that
That's
to
a
me.
good point. Yeah, he's never done that to me
Dude,
either.
you know what? Every fucking time we were trying to get a coat for him for like shows,
Yeah.
he always wants a big collar. He's so into the big collar thing, and I'm always like, "You want to look like Count Dracula?" No, like that's retarded. Why would you want a collar that big? Every fucking coat, he flips the collar up. Dude,
you
he's
know
definitely
it.
a vampire.
The first time
'Cause he's from
Greg ever came over my
Castlevania.
house, it took like 6 text messages, seriously, for him to accept to come into my house. I had to basically spell it
You
out
have to
for
be
him. Like,
invited.
you are allowed to come into my house. That's fine. It's fine.
Very explicit.
Greg's a vampire.
Explicit direction.
Finally figured it
That's
out.
pretty sweet.
Huh.
I've never been friends with a vampire, but I always wanted to.
Wow.
Kind of like I always wanted to be friends with that guy from Goonies.
Yeah.
John Aston?
Chunk.
Sean
Oh.
No, not Chunk.
Sloth.
Sloth.
Oh,
Thank you.
Sloth.
Yeah.
I always looked like Chunk when I was a kid because I was very chubby.
I feel like Sloth would be one of those people who is, if he was your friend, you would always be on edge around him.
No way, man. You just give him some Baby Ruth.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, though, like he seems like the kind of person that's like, he's a real hot and cold. You know,
Yeah.
Like if he asks you for a Baby Ruth and you don't have one, there could be an issue.
Yeah, he's got retard strength.
God damn.
Whenever I was a kid, though, man, I was chubby. You know how many? I got into no less than 3 serious fistfights that ended in blood being drawn for people asking me to do the shuffle shuffle. That's very sad.
Oh man.
They would have said shit if my homie Sloth was around.
That's
like,
true.
take care of these fools, Sloth. Beat your ass. Go ahead, say something stupid again, bitch.
Oh my.
Well,
I don't even know what we're talking about anymore.
I don't either.
Well,
What happened?
I don't know.
well, thank you, Chris.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. You know, the funny thing, like, I just gotta say, I was way off when Dan asked earlier, "What do you think people talk about behind your back?" Wouldn't you shit yourself if I had said, "You know what? I'll bet people talk about." There's
Maybe
no
a
way that
vampire.
would have said that. There's no way. What does Lacey say in contrast to that? Anyway, like that's the part that I'm curious about. Also.
Oh man, no. Actually, this is very beneficial to you. The reason that conversation started was that Lacey was like, "I love Greg so much."
oh.
That's how that started. And I said, "I know, I love Greg too." And then we were like, "We can't be that good people. Let's start with the shittiest thing we can possibly do about this."
wait, the shittiest thing you came up with was a vampire? That's like 100% of goth kids' dreams, to be mistaken or suspected to be a vampire. Greg wears Bauhaus shirts. He's like 35% goth kid. That's not the worst thing you could have said. You could have said the fucking Greg was a goddamn vendetta shitter. That would have been worse than vampire. Or the unishitter.
The reason this all started was at the New Year's party that we were all at, and Lacey and you were picking music.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
And she was like, the more I am around Greg, the more I just love him for everything. So, yeah. No, that was positive. It was. You can I mean, it's
But that's
getting published now.
That's awesome. I mean, I wish there's a big part of me that wishes that I had heard this stuff before this evening, because otherwise I would have
Ask Lacey out on a date.
you would have I was just like yeah, it's
Well, but yeah.
I've got more going for me here than I usually do. All right, yeah, no, I would have made more of a point. Like, hi, good to see you, instead of just busying myself making tacos and eating them.
I was going to say you would have had a much better answer whenever Dan asked that question earlier.
Oh yeah, that's that.
Yeah.
I happen to
Funny
know
you
this.
say that, 'cause
Yeah.
I think I do have an idea of what people say about it. Funny. Strangely enough, I'm a vampire.
And that is a compliment in at least 50% of the situations you find yourself in.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. All right.
I don't know.
Well, we're done.
That's enough of that.
Yeah.
Okay, so
That was so right, though. Like, you were right, Chris. When you started saying he's a vampire, I'm like, this is stupid. Where's he going with this? And then it, like, all started to come together. I'm like, God damn, he's right. I can't believe that shit.
Oh yeah.
You've been a vampire this whole time.
Hashtag Greg's a vampire.
oh, I got it.
Thank you.
I'm like quoting movies that were out, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
In the tens, not the most recent tens.
That's why I'm like, oh, did you see this? You see this? No, because he has to stay in during the day in his coffin.
Yeah.
It makes so much sense.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, and I don't think I've ever. I have to have seen you in the morning at least. What, maybe say Patty's Day or something.
No. I'd never
I'm
have.
not sure if I've ever seen.
I mean,
Greg
in
the
fairness, no,
morning
I've
before.
never seen Greg in the daylight either.
I hate to break this one, but you did actually. It was close to 1 year ago. Whenever I there's a picture of me upstairs from whenever I.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
See how sick he got from that?
That's true. Yeah, when I do see you in the morning, I probably don't see you for a few days afterwards. So it might take you some recovery time. Like, you put a lot of sunscreen on.
Oh, you have to
Jared,
go
that
eat
was a good save, Jared. I want to say that was a really good save.
Yeah, that works. That still works. Yeah, this
Yeah.
thing still holds up.
Look how angular he is.
Also, like in modern vampire society, I'm sure there's like all kinds of shit you can do to be able to go out during the day. Like it's
yeah, like
fucking
like
the
in
future.
Preacher, you just fucking use an umbrella.
Right? Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you could do that.
Yeah.
Greg, how many baguettes have you bought?
Baguettes. I'll just refrain from that and say that I do have an umbrella in the back of the car.
I'm not sure. if I
Zero
understand that.
baguettes.
Zero
is the right
baguettes,
answer,
yeah,
'cause
yeah.
You
I can
don't
understand
eat
that.
regular food. You eat blood
Yeah, that's
and
right.
plasma.
Is that where you're going with that? With the baguette question?
Oh, I don't know.
What was that? No, wait. What did baguettes have to do with anything?
I don't know. I'm just baiting. I got this far. Okay, I'm baiting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, you can you can find us at grownuphumans.com.
What did we cover this episode? I don't even.
Absolutely nothing. I don't
Everything. We covered more than nothing. We covered everything. Everything that's important, anyway.
covered a lot of things.
Most
lot of
things that are important.
So for those of you who are wondering where the comic books are,
You can fuck up because we're not just comic books anymore. We are the grown-up humans.
We are vampire investigators and like serial shitter fucking.
You need a little help. You got a mystery? Well, why don't you give your friends over at Grown Up Humans a call, because we figure things out every day,
Yeah.
whenever we want.
sure.
Better than you, maybe.
I don't even.
Collaboratively,
Oh boy.
five heads are better than one.
Okay.
Get it together for your health.
Oh my. So as I was saying, we all just got we all have the same group of comic books, and now we can actually read them and discuss them at length as we used to. So I promise the next episode we'll have some comic book stuff for you.
Or maybe not. You could fuck off.
Or maybe not, and you can fuck off. Who
We're not
knows?
reviewing comic books. Fuck that. We're reviewing Greg's past.
On the next episode, I will be bringing some garlic for us all to sample. Let's see who gets very.
He's not even going to be on the next episode. Greg's killing him right now.
No, none of us are making it out of this room.
Yeah.
Chris, you fucked us all
These
here.
creepy ass lights.
As the lights turn red. Just, oh.
We're all going to be hypnotized and shit. Oh, God damn it.
Well, see you guys later.
Yep. Well, I guess we'll go around the table. Everybody say goodbye, Chris.
It didn't work out.
Share.
See ya.
Vampire.
See, and I also just realized that this also ties in with the discussion earlier of like, what if if you could live for 1,000,000 years, how long would it take you? Blah blah blah. And I'm like, realistic. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Greg's actually thinking about it for real. Like, if I started now, man, I don't even. I did some smelting in the 1400s. So I do know about that.
just a whole lot easier to let the humans do it. Oh man, this is the humans. Should it be on? Fuck, whatever. All right, see you later.
Dan.
Well, I want to say goodbye, but I would first like to say that it's very sad because my greatest fear is for death to come knocking before I'm ready.
Oh,
And,
that was okay.
I think I have lived my last day as a mortal human, and if Greg's gentle, I will be an immortal vampire and feed on the flesh of you, listener. Maybe.
Jeepers creepers.
Okay. My name is Jared, and that's enough of that.
Human